Well, good day. This is Robert Brown with the Rob Report, the real Rob Report. That's going to be the new name since we got a couple of Rob Reports out here. So the logo is being changed to put the real Rob Report. So welcome to the real Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert BOBTV Brown. Again, don't forget to check out the new show that I'm doing, the Bobby Brown Show, which is a live show that will be done on Sundays at 11 p.m. And it's only going to be on for that time. Then you'll be able to catch the full show on our members page and Patreon page, and I will be putting segments on it on YouTube. June 10th, Freedom Day, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts on this particular day. As a black man in America, it's been tough, but I got to tell you the truth. You're dealing with a lot of black men in America, those who are descendants of slaves. And I'm going to be very specific on this part because a lot of people celebrating Juneteenth and they're not descendants of slaves and they never been a part of slavery here in this country. I appreciate the gesture and I appreciate the participation, but a lot of you haven't been down there. A lot of you guys came after slavery. A lot of you came from other countries to become sharecroppers. Yet some of you were enslaved in your own country. I get that. I'm talking about this. This is the day where we had our liberation, the beginnings of liberation. Let me say that, the beginnings of liberation, because it got worse in some cases after that. I'm not going to go through the history. I'm not going to go through the history of us not getting our 30 acres and a mule. You disband our family. You're talking about separating children. Where was the uproar when white settlers, white colonizers brought us in as slaves, separated us from our family on the market? Can you imagine that? Real true men on slave markets. It's going on in Libya right now, going on in other parts of the world right now. But you got full-grown men, women, and children on a slave block in the United States being sold to white settlers. So those white settlers can begin to till the land with the helps of those slaves, who those slaves are not getting anything from it, maybe some scrap food to stay alive. But hey, you got to feed your cattle, right? You got to feed your pigs, right? You got to feed your so-called livestock. And that's what we were considered at that time. We were considered livestock. You make money off the livestock. You breed your livestock. You don't pay them. Oh, you give them some food and a place to stay. You got to do that or you're inhumane, right? But you don't give them a check. Yet you're communicating on a human level with these slaves. You even teaching these slaves how to read and write. Thank you. I appreciate that. You even trying to religiousize slaves. This day is so important, and a lot of people don't understand how important it is. And I thank the nation for participating in it. And yes, it should be a holiday, a national paid day off holiday. Because this is a pivotal moment in American history when the slaves were free. The slaves had no choice to be freed. It wasn't like Lincoln. Republicans go ahead that Lincoln didn't have no real compassion and love for slaves. It was a business transaction. Business. You needed the slave bodies to participate in the Civil War in the first place. And they've been using black people in the front line of battle to this very day, still using and abusing us for your own pleasure, for your own will. Juneteenth. It's a good day. It's a good day. But just think about the horrors that we had to, even when we were free, we still had to deal with racism. We still had to deal with it. Well, you know, you guys got to pull yourself by the bootstraps. We ain't got no boots. We ain't got no straps. You were doing whatever you can to keep us on that plantation. When some of us said, no, we got to go, we took whatever we had. We had to leave butt ball naked. We left. Now, I know you got a lot of streamers on today. Don't worry about this. If you need to go see my man Tim Black or whatever, go watch his show. This is his call-in night, Freedom Fridays. So I'm gonna hurry up. I might call in, but I just got to get this off my chest because I recently just saw this post on Facebook, and it ticked me off. I'm tired of hearing people use this as a lame excuse. I'm tired of people using this as a lame excuse for not doing what you're supposed to do. Give me a moment. Let me pull it up. People, if I hear you say this in my face, man, I'm liable to lose my so-called religion. This talking point right here. No white person alive today ever owned a slave. That's a fact. But then again, you got to understand there's different types of slaves. You can be a slave working a job and getting paid slave wages. No black person alive today was ever a slave. How can you say that when they're selling slaves in Libya? And Libya is a part of Africa. And even though you think they're brown, a lot of them are black. And it's usually the black Africans in Libya that's treated like trash, and the black Africans in Israel that's being treated like trash. So how can you ever say that? Then you got the nerves to say we can't move forward if people want to keep living in the past. Do you realize that if you don't learn from your past, you can never move forward? When you have not paid your past debts, you can never move forward. This isn't about forgiveness. This is business. Black people have been forgiving white people for a long time ago. Even on the freaking plantation when you were beating the crap out of us, taking our wives and raping them, having your pleasures. When you're doing all these things, we still forgave you. We decided, well, let's move forward in this country together. So we tried to. Some of us tried to still be friends, tried to reach out. We tried. Slave masters end up winning some part of the slave master land, and you find some way to con us out of that. You do the sharecropping. And as soon as we get enough money to start to purchase our own stuff, you want to say we owe you all this money? We can't move forward if people want to keep living in the freaking past. Are you freaking kidding me, man? That is an insult to every black person that's alive, that's ADOS. I want to be specific because I'm not talking for all black people. JuneTeenth isn't for all black people, even though all black people think it is. It's not for all black people. It's for ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. That's our day. Now, if you happen to come into this country and got caught up into the slavery and you were treated as a slave, that's your day. Because there were some who did that. Some came here, some escaped from different parts of the world, and some end up coming here and they end up being in the slave trade. You got some real dark-skinned Native American people who look so black that they end up being caught in the slave trade, and it didn't matter. You can try to prove that you're a Native American or not. They didn't care about that. You black. We can make money off of you. We're going to sell you. And man, just think about the kids being separated from their family. And then just think about the kids having to procreate. And a lot of time, the kids had to bear. Just think about your baby daughter being taken away from you, and your son being taken away from you. God knows what they're doing with your son. God knows what they're doing with your daughter. Some of them actually breeding your daughter. Your daughter, 12, 13, 14 years old, being used as a breeding object. And sometimes the master go in there and get them a little some too. And now you got some light-skinned children. Now the master's wife mad at the master and the slaves. And then the master's trying to move that child into the house and grooming that child to be the house Negro. And you going to tell me that we don't need to talk about this stuff? We cannot go any further in the future if we don't deal with the past. You want to just blow it off? You're not going to blow it off, man. You're not. You got to deal with this stuff. As Marion Williamson said, we have a curse on our nation, and that curse will never be lifted off until we deal with that curse. And the curse is we brutalize, manipulated, raped, murdered, tortured black people, made millions and millions, which would be considered billions, even trillions to this day, off the black community, all black slaves. And now we're the richest country in the world because of black slaves and the free labor that black slaves gave, or the next to free labor that black people gave because of sharecropping and stuff like that. You don't want to pay them a certain wage. You're still treating them like trash. And then you're doing whatever you can to put them in the prison system. And then you're trying to get free labor off them, off that. You're doing whatever you can to profit off of them. So for that person who said nobody owns slaves today, what you think the private prison system is, bruh? What do you think Joe Biden's crime bill did? It opened up the door to a new Jim Crow and a new plantation system where brothers are going to jail, black men are going to jail in the droves for some of the dumbest things. And that's the reason why brothers are look, I'm not going back to jail. You're not going to take me back to jail to profit off me free when I'm already free. You wonder why some blacks would jump on a police officer? I don't suggest that. But if they got priors, they just got out and the judge already told him, you probably won't even last 90 days. They're expecting him to come back because, you know, it's the system. Then you got dumb idiots like Larry Kudlow talking about there's no such thing as systemic racism. It is, bruh. And you're part of it. And the person who makes this quote about nobody today the white man has owned a slave, you're part of the systemic system. Because it doesn't matter whether you physically own one with a piece of paper. The fact of the matter is there's nothing equal. 100% equal rights have to be done. 100%. And one of the main areas we're not equal in is when it comes to the wealth gap. 10 to 1 is the gap. The average now, not wealthy, the average white person has 10 times the wealth as the average black person. And you want to erase this. Well, let's just stop talking about, no, we're going to talk about it more because that is the problem. It needs to be fixed. The average black man should have the same thing as the average white man have. We're not asking for more. We only want equal. The Supreme Court building says equal justice above the law. We're supposed to be a country of equality. And that's why I'm encouraging ADOS to do whatever it is. Some of you people are talking about, well, the only thing you could do to fix this situation is vote. No, maybe some of the time it's denying a person a vote. You ain't doing nothing for me. Why should I do something for you? I'm enabling you. Systematic racism. So this person goes on and make this asinine statement. And when I say asinine, that's exactly what it is. I don't have a good looking ass of mine. You know? So if I got an ugly ass of mine, guess what you are making that statement? I'm not a juicy booty. Oh boy. I'm almost done. I just want to get this off my chest because this day is so important to black people that came here through the avenue of chains. Packed in like sardines. Stenches, disease ridden. Let me tell you something. Let's get this straight. If you're a white person who came in here through Ellis Island, you need to just shh. You cannot make a comment on slavery and the payment due to slaves in their this generation that came from slaves. You cannot make any comment out on this. If you came from Poland, you came from Ireland, you came from Italy, if you came in through Ellis Island, shut up. Shut it up. You can't make a comment on this because you didn't come in here. The reason you came to this country was because of the American dream, or the reason your forefathers came to this country is because of the American dreams. Well, guess what that American dream came from? It came off the American nightmare of black slaves. And when I say American nightmare, it was American nightmare. A freaking nightmare. You running from dogs because you want freedom? You're trying to swim across a lake to only be eaten by alligators because you want freedom? They threaten to throw your child in a pit with alligators down south if you ever think about leaving this land. Your child. They're feeding them to the alligators. They letting the dogs tear you to shred. Old Butch ain't ate in 2 weeks, boy. You better show yourself, or I'm a sick butch on you. Well, it's about 10 butches. You in the tree, because, come on, man. As soon as you come down, they want to make a spectacle of you. They're not going to bring you back to the plantation. They're going to sick all the dogs on you. The dogs going to tear you apart, and they're going to take what's left of you, take it back to the plantations and scare the mess out of the doggone slave to never leave the plantation. The American dream was built on the nightmare of black slaves. Rob, you coming a little hard on this, right? I got to, man. I got to. For anybody to say no person to this day own a slave. They're selling slaves in Libya. They got slaves in Israel. There's slaves being sold all over this country. I mean, not all over this country, maybe in this country. They got sex slaves in this country. They got an underground right now where they got slaves. And for you to make a dumb statement like that, first of all, if your lineage come from white settlers that came from, from England, through the Mayflower, Plymouth Rock, right? If your ancestors came from that, understand your ancestors became very wealthy off free labor. Now, you may not call it free because you had to pay for that slave, but that slave gave you more in body than you ever dished out in the hand of a market. When you're challenging them on bales of cotton, when you're challenging them on tobacco, when you're challenging them on tomatoes, and if you don't meet your quota, if you don't do your best, I expect everybody to always meet their quota by the end of the week. And if you don't meet your quota by the end of the week, see, I used to be in sales. I know what that's like, and I wasn't going to get whooped. I'm trying to get a bonus, trying to meet that quota to get a bonus. These people are trying to make that quota so they can save their lives, so they don't get beat. And I'm talking about beat. I'm talking about beat to the point where half of your back is being shredded off. And then you go back home to your spouse and she don't have nothing to try to keep you alive. And now you got all these infections and now you're sick and the master got to take you off somewhere and shoot you. Have you dig your own ditch and shoot you in the ditch. See, this stuff they don't teach y'all in history. Now, again, if you came here through Ellis Island, you have no right to talk about this particular subject and what white America owed or what the government owed. Let me say this, what the government owed. The government did this. The government allowed this. So you can't say nothing about that. If you came here post the Immigration Act, meaning if you came from, right after guess who you think fought for the Immigration Act? Black people. And now because of black people descendants of slaves, majority descendants of slaves, fought hard for the Immigration Act. Because of that, everybody can come in this country and profit and benefit in this country. Black people. It wasn't the Chinese. It wasn't the Irish. It was black people. And because of black people, a lot of people were able to come here easy and freely with tax breaks in the whole 9 yards because of the Immigration Act. Now, people who came from Ellis Island, the people who came here from Ellis Island got way more in breaks than black people. And they were able to start business and to prosper. I ain't got nothing against that. That's the reason why you came to America. You came to America for the American dream, but I don't want you to understand that. I want you to understand that that dream had to come at a price. It had to come in the price of black terror, terrorizing black people, black slaves. And when I say terror, I say terrorize. So fool on you, dude, who posted this. Who posted this mess? Man, on Facebook, man. I'm trying to be nice. Who is this guy posted this on Facebook? Jennifer Odom. She posted this on Facebook. Fool on you, Jennifer Odom. Fool you on Jennifer Odom. Works at none of your business. Studied at Ivy Tech Community College. Went to Haven Christian Academy. From Sturgis, Kentucky. Look like a Becky. Or a Karen. Or I would say a Rhonda. See how many black friends she got up here. You look almost black, but I doubt it. You know a person by the friend they keep. Can you guys see this? Let me see if you can see this. No, you see me. All right, let me bring her up. All right, her name is Karen Sturgis. Jennifer Odom. She put this up. And I say, look, let's look at her friends. I don't see no color in here. Sure don't see no black. He could pass. Work at white farms. Let me see. I'm looking. So far, no black people for friends. Tells me something about her. I'm strolling down. One black brother. Kentucky. See, if I can get 5 in my hand, I'll be impressed. One black brother so far. Can we get a 2? Can we get 2 black people on our friends list? Nope. So far, nope. Well, I think we got 2. Roman Brooks. I think we got 2. Her ratio of black friends are very low. Look like out of 2,000, she probably got maybe 5 to 10 black friends up here. All right, I'm tired of looking. It ain't working. I see 3. All right. 4. She getting a little better down the line. All right, so Tim just popped up as you see. So let me hurry and get off here so we can get on his show. Try to give Tim his respect. Try to understand that this is his time, and I don't want to get in the middle of that. But people who came here before, people who came here with the colonizers, understand The wealth gap that we have right now, that's 10-1, is because of your forefathers who profited off of free labor. Yeah, they paid for the slaves, but they worked them and profited off them freely and clearly. And they didn't give none of them to it. No profits to them. Now, maybe you might have one that fell in love with their slaves, and you had that good master that, I guess there were a few of them out there, not many, that didn't beat their slaves and took care of them, right? I've yet to know of one. But if your forefathers squandered the money that they had when it came to you, that's between you and your forefathers. Still has nothing to do with the fact that blacks need to be paid what they owed. Nothing is free, especially labor. If you came here through immigration through Ellis Island, you should not comment on this. Shame on you if you run your mouth on this, because you have nothing to do with this, because you didn't come into this country until the American dream started to pop up. And guess who birthed that American dream with their American nightmare they had to go through? Black people. White colonizers got wealthy, and it became so attractive to other whites in all other parts of the world that they came to this country to get it. And I get it. I understand. Hey, well, the land of the free, home of the brave. I'm going to America with $10 in my pocket or $5 in my pocket, as Bernie Sanders said his daddy came. See, Bernie Sanders can't even talk on this situation unless you're going to big it up. Shut up if you're going to big it up. Some people get mad because I talk about Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I talk about him. His forefathers didn't come here to after the Holocaust. So he's not going to really feel true black pain unless somebody try to tell him the experience. That's why Black Lives Matter. I'm not a fan of Black Lives Matter. I'm a fan of the movement, Black Lives Matter movement, the mantra, the chanting, the holding up the sign. But the organization, I'm not a fan of that. It's been co-opted by all colors and all creeds and all sexual orientation. They want to talk about, well, black trans are being they've been killed. I only see black. I only see black. I only see the fact that you're black. I don't see the trans part. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some nuts that they would kill. They don't like the LGBTQ community, and they would do something to harm them because they think they're better than everybody, and they think, yeah. But this ain't that. The moment you tell me, well, this person was a black trans, I look at the fact that they're black, because there's other trans not going to go through what they're going to go through for the simple fact they're black. And when you talk about Latino or brown people, I look at this person, do he look black? Because every Latino is not going through the black experience. Only black looking Latinos are going through the black experience, not the white looking Latinos. And the white looking Latinos identify with whites. And the black Latinos, they try to identify with black, but at the end of the day, you're not black unless you got black in you, because you do have black Latinos. You know, my ex-wife, her dad was black and Latino, black and Puerto Rican. So you do have that. The bottom line is, if you're black looking, you may experience some black racism. The Indians did it. The dark looking Indians in South Florida, they did it. And some of them had slaves. Some of them enslaved their own slaves. They enslaved their own people. My point through this whole video, and I'm getting ready to go, is this day is special to me. It's special to every black. And it's extra special to everybody who know they come from a lineage of slaves. My grandfather goes all the way back to a small town in Africa. My grandmother she's both. Her dad come from smart part Africa, and the other part comes from Native American. This day should be a holiday. Trump, you ain't make this day famous. But I can say this: this is another legacy of Floyd, because we are pushing this day. We got everybody celebrating that. Candace Owens didn't do that. She probably don't even celebrate it. She probably put Hanukkah over Juneteenth. If you come from slave lineage, don't you let up the fight. Don't you dare do not dare let Black Lives Matter, the organization, take the lead of this movement that's going on all across the world. No, ADOS. ADOS. Don't you dare let them do the demands. ADOS make the demands. Because they're not going to have your best interests at heart. They're going to have your interests and everybody else's interests at heart. That's why I'm not a fan of Joe Biden Lift Every Voice plan. And a lot of times, even though I like Bernie Sanders' policies, my whole thing is take care of black people first. We're tired of being reneged. We're tired of being ignored. You know you owe us. And the reason we got to curse over this country is because you haven't paid what you owe. And it's going to remain there. We don't need a study. You had 400 years to study. We don't need that. We already told you how much it's going to cost, and that's part of the demand. It's trillions. Cash payment, James Clyburn. Or if not, don't expect the black community to go out and vote for you. See, the reason these people are kissing the butt of Black Lives Matter is because right now, blacks across the world is mad. They want to co-opt this thing so they can try to use it against Trump, which is a smart idea. But ADOS is saying, look, I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. If you don't take care of our needs in our community, you can get up out of our face. Because it's about not you. It's not about your party. It's not the fear of the left. It's not the fear of the right. I'm not voting against something. I'm voting for something. And black people need to be, especially ADOS, especially American descendants of slaves. What are you voting for? It's got to be about voting for something, not voting against something or voting in the fear of something. Oh, we gotta get Joe Biden in because we can't deal with another 4 years of Trump. You don't know what a 4 years of Joe Biden gonna do. That's why I'm saying I know both on record. That's why I'm not voting for neither one of those turkeys. Now, one of them can come to the aid of my community and give my community what they need, then we talking. I don't give a crap who it is. And until they do, kiss off. Get up out my face. Because I'm tired of my people getting neglected too long. Stop making this movement about anything else but black. And ADOS black, to be specific. I know you want to make this about the working class. This ain't about the working class. It's about black. I know Reverend Barber want to march on to Washington. Great, good idea. You know, with Al Sharpton, great idea, good. But this still ain't got nothing to do with none of that. This is about systemic racism headed toward black people. And if you want to talk about economic justice, you talk about reparations first. Evening the playing field. See, they don't want to do that. They want to run away from that. They want to detach from that because once black people get the same amount of money as white people, it's a problem. Because money is power. And money, you can buy a politician. You can do whatever you want when you got the money. And white power don't want that to happen. I'm done. Let's get this straight. I love everybody. I love white. I love black. I love Latinos. I mean, some nice, good-looking Latino women. I mean, you know, I'm not romantically. I'm just, you know, but some good-looking. I love everybody. Some good-looking white women. I've seen some good-looking Russians over here in Astoria in Queens. You know, having a drink with a nice, good-looking, beautiful Russian lady. But you know, I remembered a couple of things that I made a decision on, and I backed off a little bit. I seen that movie Training Day. You know, you ain't gonna do me like you did Denzel. King Kong do got something on me. It's hard to kill him. But I love my people. I really have a love for my culture. I don't want to call it, you can call it black pride. I'm proud of I'm proud of my people, especially those who came here in chains. Came here, it wasn't to seek an American dream. Someone was told all kind of lies to get here. Someone was told that you're going to be working here, working there. Some of them just to be thrust on a block to be sold into slavery. That's why I got to investigate stuff. I'm not just going to believe you because you said it. Because imagine the amount of things that was said to those slaves in the boat, because those slaves had enough power to revolt. Something had to be said to make them think that it ain't going to be that bad. I don't know. All I know is they came here. And they came here in chains. And for hundreds of years, they was used and abused and got nothing for it. Nothing. An old shack, a pot, and some seeds to grow their own. And they ate the scraps off the master's table. Scrap of the pig, the scrap of the hog, the scrap of the cattle. And they had to grow their own vegetables. And if they didn't do what the master told them to do, the master would go tear up their vegetables. And as we begin to prosper and build our own, jealousy gets in, and we can't let them get above us. Can't let them have just as much as we have. Jealousy kicks in and they burn down the whole town, go on a rampage and kill everybody in the town, such as Black Wall Street in Tulsa and Black Wall Streets all over the country. I got a playlist on the Bob TV channel. I want you guys to take some time and take a look at it. It's called Why Reparations. You're going to see a couple of good films there that I suggest that you look at. That way you can get an understanding why we're yelling at the top of our lung. We want 100% equal rights, and that includes money. So if it's going to take reparations to get us to the point where it's not 10-1, where we're fully even when it comes to wealth, then that's what it takes. But right now we're in the middle of something that's huge, and we can't let nobody else take the lead when it comes to messaging. ADOS must rise up. ADOS must take the lead, start having their own press conferences, and get some kind of attention where our demands are being met. I mean, Professor Black True talked about some of the things. Jason Black talked about a black agenda, and you had a couple of people talking about it. I guess as soon as we get on one page with the main things, we need to get somebody to be a spokesperson like they have in Black Lives Matter and declare this. And I know Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell are spokespersons, but we need to have a press conference, and we need to take the reins of this movement. This movement is crying for leadership. I'm not the one to do it. I don't lead this organization. I don't have a position in this organization. But I know a few things about this. This has to be led a specific way. This has to be led with the anger of ADOS in the forefront. And we need Antonio Moore, or whoever is going to be leading this thing, to start talking about our demands in front of the media. And let them know, doggone heat pumps, man. And let them know that if our demands are not met, we're going to turn up. We're going to turn up. We're going to turn up. Anyway, guys, if you white and you got black neighbors and you know they come from Tupelo, Mississippi, South Florida, you know they came from descendants of slaves, reach out to them, love them, give them the love, tell them that you're with them. We do that. We do that. We take time out and love our Jewish brothers and sisters, even though some of them did us wrong. We still love them. We still embrace them. We still celebrate their holidays. Here in New York, we celebrate everybody's holiday. It don't matter where you come from. We celebrate you. We have parades and everything. Let's start treating life like that. And we need to have a national ADOS parade. Need to have an ADOS parade. I'm not talking about Black History. I'm not talking about African American parade. I'm talking about ADOS. ADOS. All right, I'm done. I'm about to get on Tim Black Show. I love you guys. I can't see who's up here. It never ever shows me who's up here on the stream. So but on my phone it does. But guys, go check out Tim Black. Okay, I'll holler at you later. I love you guys. Peace, 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 peace. No justice, no peace.